Okay.
Thank
We
you.
collect and preserve data, records, and anything related to the history of Smith County. We were formed in 1959. We are do programs that provide public education on the history of Smith County, maintain an archival collection that is available to the public for research, and maintain a museum and to work with any museums in the preservation of historical artifacts. We do some publishing. Our main publication is the Chronicles of Smith County, Texas. We're fixing to have out I think it's volume 52 that will be out probably in the next week or so. It's like a 80, probably 70 pages historical research. It covers any topics of Smith County history. We do publish and sell other books and materials related to the Historical Society, and we operate the museum and the archives. This is the cover of the volume 45, which we published in 2014. It also shows the table of contents. The main article there was the Smith County Socialists from 1900 to 1918 by Vicki Betts. And Vicki is a very well-known researcher of Smith County history. She also published a book called Smith County in the Civil War, which is one of the best books that we have. Another one was Andy Lee, that he just recently passed away, but he's been doing the minutes of the Commissioner's Court. This was 1858. I think we're up to like 1860, 62, somewhere through there. Andy just passed away. It was a great loss to us, but we are continuing to print. Vicki is acting as our editor right now, and we're very pleased with what she's been doing. Let's see what we did in 2021. We received a grant from the R.W. Fair Foundation. Our museum and archives is housed in the historic Carnegie Library that was built about 1903 by the Carnegie Foundation, and it requires a lot of maintenance, and the R.W. Fair has been one of the more supportive foundations, help us with the maintenance. They also gave us money to buy shelves and archival supply for the Tyler Morning Telegraph collection. That was their, what we'd call the newspaper morgue. It was about 22 file cabinets of material that we received from them, newspaper clippings, photographs, just anything that they kept for their newspaper archives. We also just installed a new small Indian pottery and point exhibit. And when they say point, they're talking about arrowheads, I think. And then we assisted over 1,000 researchers with, family, property, and business inquiries. We are open, but we are by appointment only because of the COVID and the limited number of people that we have right now to keep the building open. We rely heavily on volunteers, and COVID has really limited that to us. With volunteers helped in the programs, the publications, the archive collections, and acting as docents in the museum. At present time, we just have one staff member for the archives management. We just lost our office help. She retired as of Friday a week ago, and we have not had time to replace her. We are having some other challenges on that, but that's just some of the things that we do. The monthly meetings, we've just begun to do that again. Vicki Betts just had our last meeting in March, which is the first time we've met in about 2 years. Vicki talked about Tyler in the 1930s and how that decade changed Tyler from just a little agricultural center to a leading city with medical and agricultural and oil and gas industry. But we're very pleased to have that. I think our next monthly meeting, I think it's going to be Rob Jones, a former president of the Historical Society. And he's going to be talking about the Civil War.
Scott?
Yes.
Scott, are those in-person meetings?
They are in person. I did tape the one with Vicki, and it will probably be up on our YouTube channel hopefully shortly. We're going to try to incorporate her PowerPoint into the presentation that I taped.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to get some help on that, but that should be up. Now, this is a picture of the original Carnegie History Center, our library. If you notice, there is about half the building's not there because it was actually, the building was doubled in size in about the 1930s. And that's, the city of Tyler was there in the library, okay, until like well, it says 1979. And then like in the 80s, we entered into an agreement with the city of Tyler to have the museum and archives there. And we're still under the same agreement. It is challenging to have a building that is 15 years old. Actually older than that, 100 and
It's old, yeah.
108, 112, 118, whatever it is. We are doing everything we can. Let's see, the archives, we have extensive records. One of the newest ones is the Tyler Morning Telegraph Archives collections. Aerial photos of Tyler from 1950 to 2000, photos and postcards. We've had over 35,000 scanned. We have over 750,000 negatives from the Delk and the Faulkner collections. City directories and Sanborn maps are one of our more popular records and stuff. In collaboration with East Texas Genealogy and the Tyler Library, we assist in any kind of family research using all the records that we have available. The archives have, one of the big things that I've been working on is the Smith County annuals. We have a nearly complete run of the Tyler High, nearly complete run of the Robert E. Lee High School, Tyler Junior College. I don't have as many of the Emmett Scott and Texas College, but we're working diligently trying to find them. Rice Elementary, TK Dorman, Grace Community, Winona and Troop. We are the manager of Camp Ford, which is the largest Confederate prison camp west of the Mississippi. In June of 1864, there was over 44,800 men in the 20-acre stockade. I heard somebody talking about that. I think it was Vicki Betts talking about that she had read something where you could smell the prison from like nearly Tyler, and that really would be something that's very graphic because of it's good 5 or 10 miles from Camp Ford to the city of Tyler. So May 19th, 1865, the last Union prisoner of war passed through the gates at Camp Ford and were escorted on foot to Shreveport and transported down the Red River to the Gulf. These are some graphic, I think these were like Harper Bazaar type picture paintings or whatever, lithographs. I'm not going to worry about that one. Some of our affiliation, we are part of the Smith County Historical Commission, Texas Historical Commission, American Association for State History, and Chamber of Commerce. One of our more popular collections is the Chamber of Commerce collection. They did a lot of photographing of just different businesses and stuff. Historic Tyler and East Texas Genealogy Society, and I'm members of both societies there. So if anybody has any questions about that, I'll be glad to answer that. The markers, we've got about 120, I think, right now, and we're still actively trying to get markers when we can. We do assist in that. We received the first metal plaque historical marker in Texas, was erected at Camp Ford. It is the number 1. It is located 1/2 mile north of Loop 323 and 6540 US Highway 271 North. That is actually owned by the Smith County, Texas government, and we have a lease agreement with them that we help kind of maintain it and so forth. Let's see, there are 110 metal plaques of the Historical Society in Texas. Our museum exhibits are, one of our prominent exhibits is called A Century of Progress. It's about the 20th century. We are trying to evolve exhibits as we can. We are having some different ones come in and out. Right the present, we have one on an artist named A.C. Gentry Jr. He did a lot of work on documenting different historical societies, and We're also just opened the Indian thing that we talked about a little bit earlier. We're on the process of trying to do a couple more. So hopefully this next year we'll have at least one or two new exhibits. There are 2 open gallery spaces, which are used for rotating exhibits. The AC Gentry is one of them. We do have Lady Justice, who was a statue that was on the old courthouse, 1909 courthouse, that was torn down. She is made of tin, so it's kind of an interesting thing, but we do have that. We're also, let's see, that's a picture of the old courthouse. We have a lot of people that lament losing that, especially when you see how ugly our current courthouse is. But it was sacrificed in the name of progress. Our main road through Tyler is called Broadway, and the courthouse interrupted Broadway. I mean, it did not go through. So in the name of progress, they decided to tear down this lovely building and put up our ugly little courthouse now. And we now have a complete road. I mean, Broadway goes all the way through the town. It's Highway 69 for anybody that needs to know that. Members always love to have new members. It helps us do programs and preservation and research and stuff like that. And we are open these times. We do request that you make an appointment. It's one of those things that if you don't, we may not be available to help you. Okay, that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
You covered a lot. That was really good.
It's got the Chronicles of Smith County. They're mailed out to the membership
Right.
free of charge.
It's part of the membership, yes.
Yeah, I don't know when I got mine last.
Let me know and I will check on your membership. But the new one is out, and I'm sorry I cannot at the moment remember what it's featured. I know.
When did it come out? When did it come out?
It's fixing to come out. I mean, literally, They told us it was going to be printed this week or delivered this next week or so.
Okay.
It actually was delayed because of limited supplies on the paper and stuff. We had ordered it and they had to back order the stuff. So, but it will be out, and then we are starting to work on next year, this year's Chronicles. Anybody else have any questions? Or
I have a question about the historical plaques. So
okay.
110 plaques, are those all those are plaques that the Historical Society has initiated, gathered,
Right.
applied for? Wow, that's a lot. That's great.
Well, we have not had too many done this year, but or this last couple of years, but it's part of our responsibilities to help, and we do that. They are expensive little devils because you do have to pay for it. We do have some money that comes from the county government to help pay for those if we choose to. Another thing that we do have is the Greer Foundation. It's under our control. It helps with different projects. I mean, we helped publish Vicki Betts' book, the Smith County and Civil War, and we also helped publish Andy Leith's book about the probate records. That was one of our early members that left us so much money, and we kept it intact and using the income off of it now to do projects. We did
Are those publications for sale on the website?
Yes, yeah, they're on our website. Well, actually, Andy's book right now is out of print. I was in the process of trying to get it worked out when he passed away, and so I don't know really what will be with that. The other thing, we did receive a digitization grant, and I can't remember what the name of the fund was, but that we digitized all the programs that we had as far as on cassettes, on videotape, on whatever. And it's all available in the Internet Archives. As you can well imagine, some of the quality of some of the programs was not real great, but they did do as much as they could to make it better. And we do find things. We had the archivist of the United States appear once, and it's just a treasure trove of different things that we've done. So that's always interesting. And you never know what will come in the door. I mean, literally, we've had trash bags dropped off on the stoop saying, well, we think you ought to have this. And we saved them from the trash can. So, and then, we have another collection we have was the Gregory collection, which was an architect of Smith County, Tyler. They brought us all his plans. So we have plans of houses and stuff that may not have ever seen since the time they were built, I guess. And another project we're working on right now is the Cotton Belt News. Me and actually a member from East Texas Genealogy, Jenny Sellers, are taking the company magazines that they published like from the 40s to the 70s. We've indexed them, and we're fixing to start putting the indexes up online. It's some great information about the company, the Cotton Belt Railroad, but it's also going to be at different places. I mean, it covered like Sulphur Springs, Palestine, different places that the Cotton Belt went to. And I'm really excited about that. I just wish I had time to get it up faster right now. So we'll hopefully start getting that up posted on our website. Anybody else have any questions? Another project is the Larry Wade, which is an African-American member of our Smith County Historical Society's board, has been doing cleanup of certain historic African-American cemeteries. The one that he's started with was the Universal Cemetery that's kind of west of town. And he pretty much does there like once a month, has a meeting out there to clean up. Another one is up there by, I think it's called Garrett Cemetery, next to the Kendrick Cemetery in South Tyler. He also helped us with the cleanup of a cemetery west of town. I can't remember what that name was, but that's one of the projects that he has sponsored. And he just recently did a presentation for the city of Tyler at the Liberty Theater on the Cut, which is a African-American business area in Tyler. And he lived there close to that while he was growing up. So we do have 2 African-American museums in Tyler. One's run by Larry Wade and the other one's run by Clarence Shackelford. They did have an announcement that they received a donation from Mrs. Muhammad Ali, that they have not gotten the money, but I mean, they announced it and said that they were sending Mrs. Muhammad Ali pledged $1 million to the African American Museum. That would be a life-changing amount of money.
Yeah.
For that organization and for any organization.